Who can it be? Showing up with Tony T, yes, Ramon SEO. To the double T, befuddling these bookies like 1, 2, 3. They tapping out and we cashing out. It's plain to see. The morning steam is the A-team, Mr. T. And I pity the fools who can't hang. Coming with real game, it's sort of a freight train. It's been reported bank rolls are easy to maintain. So get situated and listen to the picks. And it goes along something like this.
And good morning from Tony'sPicks.com. This is Ramon Scott. Welcome to the Morning Steam for Thursday, January 25th. Got NBA basketball, college basketball, NHL hockey to talk about today on our Thursday. We had women's Australian Open action overnight. We know who will be in the finals from Melbourne this weekend. And, well, how'd it go for you guys overnight? I tried to catch as much as I could of those matches, but had a late night with the fellas out on one of the other shows and enjoyed myself. So, but we do have Sabalenka going on to meet Qinwen Zhang in the final on the women's side. Maybe we even have a line out by the time this show is over. Good morning, everyone, and welcome in. Hey, I can't let this opportunity go by without talking about the hire by the Los Angeles Chargers. I guess I just called them Los Angeles. You know, I try to call them San Diego every time out of spite. But Chargers finally hire Jim Harbaugh. 2 days of contract negotiations and a back and forth that may have even involved a call from the guy who heads up the league office and pressured the Chargers into making a hire like this. 5 years, $60 million. There were other issues involved, including Kellen Moore's situation. He's probably not going to be Harbaugh's kind of guy. Also, lack of success with this organization. They're just renters, of course, in LA. So you have to overcome all the cutting corners that the Spanos family does. Their whole dysfunctional family. They've been involved in lawsuits over the last several years about whose money really is it and who owns the team and why do we have a team and should we sell a team and things like that. So, and they don't have a great history of coaching success. Well, I say that they actually have a strong history of coaching success. They always fire their best coaches, guys like Don Coryell, Bobby Ross, GM Bobby Beathard, Marty Schottenheimer, among others. They always end up hitting the door, but the Chargers take a chance on Harbaugh. Really hasn't missed wherever he's been. He was 49-22 when he kind of fell out of favor with the 49ers a little bit. Chargers haven't won the division in almost 15 years and have 2 playoff wins in a little more than a decade. So he can probably at least get this team to a playoff victory or two and never be able to take this organization to the top. There's only one type of coach that could do it. It would be this, but I really think in the end, Harbaugh will spell his doom with the franchise and just modestly achieve, maybe bump this team up a little bit to playoff contender and maybe win a game or two in the playoffs. But I never see this team turning it around necessarily. But at least they have a noteworthy head coach in Harbaugh. Remember, Harbaugh, funny, he didn't win any bowl games really until the end of his tenure at Michigan. But again, he was just building a little bit in those other seasons and gets a chance to work with Justin Herbert. He hasn't really had a lot of great quarterbacks, frankly, at Michigan. He's taken guys like J.J. McCarthy, if you will. Maybe McCarthy's a little bit better than the groups of guys that he's had in the years he was at Michigan, but he's always just taken kind of a game manager style quarterback and turned him into being able to run a Michigan team. And if he is a CEO head coach, that's probably what the Chargers need, quite frankly. So Chargers make that move for Harbaugh. We're getting ready, of course, for the games this weekend. We'll see Chiefs having a little bit of news on the injury front with Pacheco missing the workout with a toe problem, and Joe Thurney. I mean, it looks like he's going to be really hard pressed to make the game for the Chiefs. All pro guard, and Deebo Samuel for the Niners. We talked about last night on one of those shows, 50-50 man for Deebo right now. And that's a team where, hey, 5-4 with Deebo, without Deebo in the last 9 for the 49ers. So, he's important, but they have other guys, but still he does make kind of a difference for the team. So, all right. Hey, nice to see everyone here today, and we'll visit with you guys and say hello to a few friends. Thank you for coming in today with a great day of sports. We'll have a little bit of a discussion maybe on maybe some talk about football in the chat. Let's see what you guys got. Gerardo was here to open the doors. Thank you. Perky here. Here it says not a great card, but really, I mean, this is supposed to be like a college basketball fan's delight. Really, well, college basketball bettor's delight. How's that? There are big games in mid-majors today, but the NBA might leave something to be desired. We already have the biggest favorite of the year in NHL. Notice that NBA card. If you like home dogs, today's your day. Make no mistake, Thomas Lewis here today. But could the Edmonton Oilers be a $6 favorite by the time this game goes off? Tonight, there it is. Thank you to Mike here today, and Blake and Perky said it. And Thomas says, how does it make me feel? I always say it because, hey, I didn't break up with the Chargers. They broke up with me, and they left. Stephen Downey here today. And, hey, Quinnipiac for Perky's already coming in. And Justin bringing his play. It's going to be on the Heat, it looks like, today. Thank you, Justin. And Timmy here today. Mike bringing plays already. This is what we need on a day like today, right? Jeff's here, ready to go. And Byron, I don't know if you were here yesterday, Byron. We were talking about the basketball. I know you're busy, probably just stopping by to say hi. But I was like, man, why can't we get Byron's comments on basketball games? I mean, here we have all county shooting guard. You'd be able to give us some great advice. All right, Gerardo coming in with the Heat today. We'll preview all the games in the NBA today, with or without Byron. 7-game card today. And also we'll talk 9 games on the ice. How about my Kings last night? I mean, what a joke. 3-0 lead, and they end up absolutely blowing it. Sure, we had the free winner yesterday with the over, and I was on a show last night. They said, the card was so ugly last night, right? With every game really being basically a $2 or more favorite for the home team. They said, well, you had to pick one of these underdogs. This was the question posed to the panelists, and I was on the panel. And I said, if you want to take one underdog out of the 4 teams, what would it be? I said, well, it'd be the Buffalo Sabres. I mean, these Kings are really making me mad. I don't like what's going on right now. It doesn't look like the same team. And Buffalo came back from a 3-0 deficit to put one on over the Kings. and the Kings not looking good at all right now. This is bad. So we did have some winners on the ice last night, though. We had that over. We had a good night on the ice, actually. We had the over also Blues and Canucks. We had our premium pick, our only one in hockey, was on the Kraken on the puck line, a rare puck line play, but we had it. And also, free winner here on the show with the Colorado Avalanche, and we also had the Carolina Hurricanes for a 5-2 night in the NHL. We'll go over to Tony'sPicks.com in just a moment. Went 2-1 in our premiums in the NBA. Premium pick winners yesterday: Hornets and Pistons game to go under. Premium pick winner. We also had Grizzlies and Heat game to go under. Pretty easy one there. We had that one, and we also had free winners here on the show. Wizards on the show, Pistons on the show as well. Portland Trailblazers had that one on the show. Milwaukee Bucks, we had that one on the show. Winner, Suns and Mavericks over. Show winner, Hawks Warriors over. Show winner for a 6-2 day here on the show in NBA. So hope that was okay with you guys yesterday to go 11-4 in the professional sports on our free picks. Yeah, thanks, Stephen. Appreciate that. Makes up for the day before, hopefully. All right, and I do like today's card. We'll talk about it. Maybe what were some of the headlines for you in some of the other sports, or the clean up the mess in the NBA with the Milwaukee Bucks moving forward finally with Doc Rivers. What was going on there? They say the ownership, the GM, the president, they were attending the practices for the Bucks, maybe just judging that it wasn't doing a great job there as well. But basically, maybe in the huddle, coach was diagramming plays that were kind of like to use Giannis as the decoy, as if he were going to be guarded so heavily, right? You don't do that, right? You have Giannis, you find a way to get him the ball in those key plays in the moment. They were kind of designing the plays that said, for to go away from Giannis, because the coach may be thinking, well, I'm a star player, they're going to clamp down on him or whatever, we'll kick it out to one of these other guys. And you lose confidence. Let your star player make the decision when to dish it out. That might be one, I'm certainly they're going to get a lot of criticism for firing a coach with a 30-13 record, but still, you want to still focus on your main guy. Giannis getting a little bit of heat, obviously, talking about how maybe he was, walking into the game himself when he was ready to go back in and not even checking with the coach. But nonetheless, they'll go on with Doc Rivers, a guy who, maybe he's won a title, but most people would talk about how maybe he's a bit of a strong achiever in the regular season to get your good team to where they need to be, and then maybe it doesn't work out kind of in the end when the chips are down. Hello to Razor today. Great to hang with you last night as well. And Russell here today. Mike talking about some of the college games last night. Yeah, we did have some good ones there. We saw Coach having a pretty good time last night with St. John's, laughing along the way, having a really good time with their win last night. Other games included the big upset. Northwestern did it again. I don't even know if it's an upset, but Illinois beat them by 30 a few weeks ago, and Northwestern was knocking down threes. So they beat Illinois 96-91 in overtime. Alabama and Auburn, another great game. Alabama held them off. We had the free pick winner in that one on the under with Alabama, and that was our double play, right? We had Alabama laying the points and the under. It was a squeaker, no doubt about it. Virginia in overtime still went under 59-53. I think that was a good one yesterday. The Furman over Samford in that big game we talked about finished way short of that total. I really thought both teams would be cracking into the 80s in that one, but we did have premium pick winners yesterday. Texas State and Troy game to go over in college basketball. Indiana State, Illinois, Chicago over was a premium pick winner. Marquette and DePaul was another premium pick winner for us yesterday. And Winthrop and Charleston Southern premium pick winner on the under. Also, some decent plays here on the show yesterday. Included the Utah and Washington State game under, Colorado State and Nevada under, Kansas State, Iowa State over. That was a winner. We had winners all up and down the College Board there late. Ended up, I think, with a push probably on that Virginia game for most. We gave it out on the show. Would have been a cover, but anybody who waited till the end might have got a push on that one. All right. Also, what was another? Iowa State over Kansas State in that other big game, I think, yesterday. All right. I'm going to go over to Tony'sPicks.com and see who did well. Russell's comment up there. Hello, Russell. Hello, Matt. And all right. I think I got everybody. I think I said hello. I want to go to Tony'sPicks.com and promote all of my cohorts on the website and see who did well yesterday. I had a winning day. So I think we're on a winning streak. I think that's safe to say right now. And we'll take a look at who did well yesterday. Here we go. No, I'm on top. What do you know? Fittingly, I'm on top of the handicapper leaderboards for that performance yesterday with a 7-3 record. I think I just gave out all the winners that I had on the intro, but look who was second yesterday. The Queen, Latifah Collins, 5-2-1 for plus 285 units. Ruben Marlboro, one of our new cappers, continues to produce. Come to Marlboro country. You would have went 8-5 yesterday. Collins Brown, CB, knocking out another perfect day. Collins, that's twice this week, and he goes 2-0. Joseph Schultz wins his only play. Ron Hahn, one of our great chat members from the couple years past. Tony T went 2-1 in his premium pick selections, and Daniel Walasachuk 3-2 yesterday. Over the last 7 days, it is Ruben Marlboro on top of the handicapper leaderboards, up 11 2/3 units. Gene got picks. Gene got winners, nearly 8 units of profit. The two old ladies that bet consensus, that's when our handicappers Mindy Hahn and Tiffany Mance agree on a play. They have an account that deals their consensus picks. That was a great concept. And they are producing great percentage there, 67%, 7 units over the last 7 days. I'm up there now on the weekly leaderboard, nearly 7 units profit. And EPA Sports with his solid numbers up 575. Last 30 days, it's Mark Butterscotch Eubanks, a great member of our community, now on top of the handicapper leaderboard. So why can't it be you? Up 27 1/3 units over the last 30 days. Gene got picks, up 25 units. Nick Lagaretos, the veteran, 18 3/4 units of profit. Ron Hahn, nearly 11 3/4 units of profit. And probably Sam Murdy, 11 2/3 units of profit. And just want to say how impressed I am by the crew so far. It's been 24 days and a lot of handicappers running in the green. This is the year-long leaderboard. It starts on January 1st. Nick Lagaretos up 21 1/4 units. Gene got picks up there. Ruben Marlboro, Mark Butterscotch Eubanks, Joseph Schultz, probably Sam Murty up there, 15.5 units. I'm up there for the year so far, up 12.5 units over 24 days. I will take a half a unit a day. We want to keep it going, get it better, and I think we're on a pretty good roll in the time of the year that I destroyed college basketball last year, so why wouldn't it continue again in conference play? Hook up with me here at the website, Tony'sPicks.com, and use the promo code TonyT at checkout to save 20% off all premium pick packages, including those that you might purchase from me. As a show of your support, you'll get my best picks every day by subscribing to any of my premium pick packages. I put my best picks in the system, fully documented at Tony'sPicks.com. They are the independent party, if you will, for me that grades my picks. So it's just like a sports book almost. All the handicappers enter in the picks. They're graded. Nothing you can do. Just show off your winners like Tim Irwin and Ron Crawford as well. Mindy Hahn on that leaderboard. Look at that, how deep it runs. That's what I was talking about. 17 of our cappers right now in the green, and those others, they'll get up there too. Thanks a lot for checking it out. You can click on the All Cappers tab. There you'll find all the handicappers. Click on their handicapper profile page, and that's how you get signed up. You can check out all my records there, including all of my numbers that are fully documented and all of my previous numbers as well. You see, talk about my NCAA. This is in 2023, the documented results. I was up 43 units there in 2023. You look at 2024, and I'm up, well, almost 10 units so far in the first 24 days. So it's kind of the same percentage, that's how it works. I mean, there's no magic formula. Just try to crank out that winning percentage. And you see I'm in the green in all three of the current major sports, the daily sports running here right now since January 1st. All right, appreciate it. Oh, well, you can look back and see all those results. In fact, every pick I've ever made, but the results from yesterday, you see them right here. I've already told you about them, right? Kraken puck line, Marquette DePaul over. You see the winners there, and you can go back day by day and check it out. All right. Thank you for listening to that. I'll get you those free winners, hopefully up and down the network here right now, and get your picks as well with our all-star chat crew. They're going to come through with most of the plays, and they're going to throw me into a whirlwind here for the next 2 hours, dare I say. Let's get started, because you know how I talk. Amazing. Someone can sit there and talk to themselves. Well, I'm talking to you guys, right? All right. And hey, I'll definitely, mention with Razor in there talking about his horse racing coverage. It's always great to head on over and check out Razor as I do. I don't get a chance to say hi. I'm going to have to say hi more to Razor, but I love to keep the races on during the day, being an old horse racing guy myself. And that's how I got started in gambling, of course, was at the dog races at Agua Caliente in Tijuana. Basically sitting there as like a 7 and 8-year-old with a program betting dogs late into the night when I had to be at school the next day. But that's where my dad took me. Sleep on the way home. Get that? All right. Thank you, everyone. I see your comments in there. Ray's here today, ready to go. All right, we got to get started. And we're going to go right to the NBA here and get rolling with the Jazz taking on the Wizards. And Wizards made it fun and interesting last night, certainly. They're on the back-to-back here in this one. The Wizards, of course, were up against the Timberwolves and maybe found a way to get that money for most, as it kind of was flirting with the spread there late. But the Wizards continue to kind of get the money late in those big spread games right now. Now, this might not be quite within the range. We'll see what you guys think on this one, because now he's trying to deal with a 7 here all of a sudden. Maybe even the Wizards getting a tiny bit of respect from bettors and bookmakers here to start closing the gap ever so slightly on some of these numbers here lately. Might not be the right team to do it against a team like Utah that's covering numbers pretty strong this season, but on the road, Jazz haven't been great with just 11 and 13 mark, but still the Wizards are 7 and 13 against the spread at home. That's kind of been their, everything's a bugaboo for the Wizards right now. But again, maybe, just maybe, they've closed the gap just a tiny bit here of late to get a few covers. They just got wiped out by the Timberwolves, but still got some 11.5s out there. Maybe the closer was 10.5, which would leave Wizards bettors on the weekend of that play yesterday. But they did get the money against Denver before that at home, getting 12.5. They also got the money recently, getting 12 from the Knicks. As far as the Jazz is concerned, they've actually lost 3 in a row. They've, certainly been a team that we've talked about as, turned everything around once they started to get their roster healthy and basically turned into a playoff contending team. Certainly, past teams in the conference like the Warriors currently. Now they did just lose in embarrassing fashion, 153 to 124 against the Pelicans the other night. However, they did get the money in a 1-point game against Houston, and they lost and failed against Oklahoma City before that. So this one right now, let me see if that total, I think it might be on the move lower here. There was some widely reported steam that did come in on the underdog. Obviously, it was 8 there when I entered in these lines. I was hoping the tennis match was a little better because I got up to watch the second set all my lines and graphics, and I'm like, man, if it goes in there, I'll just keep handicapping. I'm tired, but then the match kind of ended early into the graphics. And you know what? I'll go grab another hour and then get up at 4 and kind of do things. So. All right, we'll see you get your comments on this one with the Jazz and the Wizards. Maybe run over some trends here. Gerald Dreyer here today. Stephen Downey. It's sad, right, Stephen? What's happening to our great racetracks that we grew up with? But everything getting kind of consolidated in the horse racing game. Look, sports will save horse racing, but they've got to be a little bit more open-minded, really. Mike, you're my type of guy. I mean, all right. Here they come. Justin says, give me the under in this one. Whew, oh, I don't want to think Justin and I aren't clicking right away, but a raise on the Wizards here. Rich Stubbs, he's on the over in this one. He kind of likes the Wizards, that steam. Kind of worry more about the Wizards on the back-to-back. And Fernando on the under. Looks like you guys are on the under, so maybe I just got to steer clear because I was thinking under. Hi, Dre. Dre went 6-0 last night. Hope it keeps rolling into the weekend for you and the Ravens. Nothing against our Chiefs. You guys mentioned Mindy in there in the chat. I mean, I do think about them as they're our Chiefs fans. Dre's, you guys are hard on the under here, man. I don't feel like I can touch it now because I wanted to play the over in the game, and I don't want to kind of go against you. And I don't know, maybe it even felt like a premium. I don't know. I see the 245. It's up to 245 and a half now. That's up from an opener as low as 242 at Bet Online. So it only continues. So you guys are getting the best price for sure. Yeah, Ninja. That's what you know what? If I can try to think about maybe what the chat is thinking with their picks, maybe that is, I don't know. Maybe that is just such a high number. That's all I can think about. Well, let me at least touch on some of these maybe some of these trends involving these teams. With the total anyway, because certainly the Jazz 25-20 to the over overall, 6-3 to the over is a favorite. The Wizards, they definitely have been going under of late, so I don't think there's any question there. You look at some of these games, last 2 games here at home. This is a 4th game of the homestand. All right, they are inconsistent, Trey says. Fernando did say Jazz. All right. I guess I'll just be on the side here because you guys are clearly on the under, and maybe I wasn't feeling it. But I'm going to go ahead and lay it here. Wizards on the back-to-back in this one. I'm getting obviously a bit of a discount here now with the spread gone down. I love to respect that steam. And look, it looks like it's still kind of coming in. But there were some moves on Utah that makes me want to consider them. Uh, let's see. All right. Yeah, no, I get it. Okay. All right. Uh, yeah, I mean the Wizards would need a huge contribution. That much I understand for sure. I think Tony might have the most interesting comment here, but whether or not I'll get on the uh, whether or not I'll get on that total now. Hey, I'm gonna weigh what you guys have. Obviously, so many of you here, but again, the total continues to go up, and the action from the public does seem heavy on the over. Seems like it's heavy on the Wizards and the over, according to the line services. So we'll give them that much too. I'll actually take Utah here to lay it today. All right. Thanks, you guys. All right. Yeah, just settle down, you guys, in the chat there. We don't need that. We just make. Hey, some of the times I'm just making picks too, but I got you guys. Not there's not always. Sometimes my numbers are zeroed on, and I just try to stick to sides and totals. You know that that's really the products that are available at Tony'sPicks.com. So I'm on some other shows out there, some other things that kind of allow. We have props here. We have props here at Tony'sPicks.com. Our handicappers are pretty hot in this. I'm going to have a Super Bowl prop package. You can best believe. Maybe even these championship games. Why not? All right. I just want to note on my sheet here a little bit of steam on one of the preview games that we're going to talk about in college basketball. Pardon me there for a second, but I just want to make a note of that one because it was correlating with my play. So let's continue on now and take a look at this one with the 76ers here and the Pacers. Nice game here in this one with the Sixers. Of course, they're favored on the road, but Pacers continue to be pretty impressive right now and continuing their strong form. The widely reported steam, though, did come in here in this game on the 76ers, and they also have steamed the total under here a little bit. So now I've got to ask you guys again about this one because I was like, hey, this is a Pacers game after all. And who's going to stop the 76ers from scoring? It's 5.5 and 237.5. So I don't know. On the surface, I mean, here's two teams we definitely, well, especially we know Indiana's the king of the overs, right? All right, for the Pacers right now, their totals run, however, has been going the other way. They've been having a lot of unders of late. They've kind of maybe it kind of coincided with the Halliburton absence from the lineup, and we know he's not going to be back just yet. So maybe that's why the totals are a little bit lower, or the Pacers aren't really cracking at that same rate. But they're still 15-7 to the over at home. Philadelphia is 12-7 to the over on the road. These two teams are combined 51-35 to the over this season. The Sixers, as a favorite, they're 20-11 to the over. Sixers have been pretty terrific at covering numbers, but most of that work has been at home. Still on the road, they are 11-8 against the spread. The Pacers are pretty good too, 14-10 as an underdog against the spread, 12-8 at home against the spread, and they're just in general a pretty solid spread team as an underrated club. These two teams have already met twice this season. Both meetings were in Philly, so we're going to work on these games in Indiana. Pacers actually won the last meeting, 132-126 is a 6.5 point dog. That was one of those back-to-backers that we talk about where the second game often goes to a higher total. Both these games flew over the total this year. In fact, these two teams produce ridiculous amounts of overs right now when they play each other. They're on a run. Both games this year so far, 258 and 263 points. Meetings last year, all won by the Sixers, 262, 290, 255. They all go over this number, but that wasn't good enough for the Sharps. They apparently like the under. They can, that was the Sharp move anyway. But I don't want any part of it. I mean, I want to go over. I think. Let's get your comments on this one. And let's see. I do Ninja, but I bet all of them. But I'm, here's Ray on the Pacers in this one and sprinkle the money line. Fernando says Halliburton continues to be out. Trey does like the over rich tier today. He likes 76ers here and the over, where Rich and I probably see an eye to eye, I think, on this one. As much as I've liked taking the Pacers, and I don't know if I could do it in a premium. I might end up just taking the side here, as that total seems so attractive to me, quite frankly. Little bit of buyback here since we've been on the show, though, but I don't think that's going to get me off that over. Mike's on the over. Justin on the Pacers here. Mike projects this one to be well over the number, it looks like. All right. I think that'll be pretty good from you guys. Fernando also, he likes Embiid's points to go over. Mike says moneyline could be tight. Maybe the Pacers hang in here. And why not? I mean, without Halliburton, they're still a pretty decent team, it feels like, especially the way they've competed. Now, granted, they're on a 3-game losing streak, and they didn't even cover. They basically had a couple of pushes, is what in those last 2 games. They were pretty much the final market settlement 5 in the Denver game, and it landed 5. And then 7 in the Phoenix game, and it landed 7. So maybe not in their best form right now, but I don't know. I was thinking I might want to lay it right now with the Sixers. So let me do that. I'm going to go ahead and take Philly today, even on the road here against the Pacers. That hasn't been like me. I've been on the Pacers quite a bit, but Sixers still pretty good at covering some numbers. I know these road favorites, man. I mean, I'm on 2 of them so far. That is not a real comfortable feeling, but I'm going to go with what I feel is the right position here. Okay, here's a game. Celtics and the Heat. Were the Heat looking ahead possibly last night, because they didn't look very good? They looked dead out there, quite frankly, in that game against the Memphis Grizzlies. I mean, you're not supposed to lose to a team like Memphis right now. If you're Miami, could you really be in that position to kind of be looking ahead? Now, they've had a little bit of shakeup in their personnel. Maybe there's issues where, you get trying to fit player in a new role or something like that. I don't really know what the deal was. Watch that game. Certainly, I could see Spoelstra was having some issues trying to figure out what was going on. But this is a TNT game tonight, so it has to be a little bit of look ahead here for the Heat. You wouldn't think they were a look ahead type team, but really the game, Memphis was in charge. Kevin Love questionable. Jaquez is out of this game. Heat have lost and failed to cover now in 4 straight games. Boston, meanwhile, they've won 2 straight, beating Dallas, beating Houston. Both games on the road. Went to that little bit of Texas swing. And man, the total at 224. Don't they know how the Heat likes to play their basketball games? The Sharps do. They've already kind of moved this game under, I think. The widely reported steam came in on the under in this game. Right now, the total sits at 224, but it was as high. The opener at 226 at some spots. And opened as low as 5 here. Now we're up to 7. There are some notable injuries, as I said. I think, basically Love, who I believe it's reported as an illness, but he left last game, if I'm not mistaken. Porzingis is probable here. The Heat right now just 3-6-1 in their last 10 games overall. They're 8-13 against the spread at home, 8-10 against the spread as an underdog. The Celtics are not a great spread team, but we know they're always saddled with favoritism for the most part. They've only been an underdog twice this season. So not much really to report other than 9-12 against the spread on the road. These two teams met once. It was Boston winning this game, but 119 to 111 at home as an 8.5-point favorite. Fell real close to the number. So maybe get some of your comments in here in your plays, and I'm ready to go, I think, on mine. I'm kind of take a look here. Okay, Fernando. He's on the Celtics here. I mean, when I think of this game, and Mike says over sounds right. Dre's leaning under. Rich says Celtics and over. When I looked down at the card and I was like, oh, here's Celtics Heat. And I know the Sharps are going to steam the under here in this one. And they did. And I'm like, I'm probably going to be with them. But I'm not so sure that I am. I think looking where after what happened last night, I'm probably going to end up on the over. And here's Ray with the Heat. Mike says scoring seems it is. Mike, scoring is up this season. It's just the nature of the game now. I don't know if we can't. We feels like we've let the genie out of the bottle. We can't go back. No one will ever play defense, and no one ever dunks anymore. What's going on? I mean, you get a breakaway dunk. I get all that, but no big men can get in there and dunk over another guy. It feels like anymore. All right, you guys aren't too keen on this one, even though it's the big game of the night. Not seeing a lot of opinions here. Maybe a little gun shy in this one. I don't know. This is probably a home dog though that I'm going to be on. I've got to think that whatever was going on last night. I don't think the Heat 4 straight. It is troubling, but you're not going to think that the Heat are falling apart or anything like that, are we? I mean, they made a move for a reason too, right? They think they can improve, and you think that this organization, one that usually has a good, their reputation is for good personnel decisions. Their strength has always been in their building of a team and a bench here in this one. So, all right, okay, let's see any more. Rich says Celtics might win, but Heat might cover. And I did, right, Thomas? I said at the top, we get home dogs, and here I am on 2 road favorites. Well, probably going to be, I am on the under. It's just a matter of, I like both the side and that total. I mean, I'll probably go over in this one as the pick here on the show because I do think that, for me, when I see Celtics Heat right now, given if they just didn't play, if they didn't play yesterday, if they didn't have a 4-game losing streak, maybe they're just being the Heat. I'd probably be under. I'd be like, man, this feels like an under. This is Celtics Heat. It's got to be an under for me. Let me see, because we talked about the first meeting was way over, but everything else, since then is always an under in this series, if I'm not mistaken. Didn't write the series down in this one, long-term trend, but all right. Give me the over in this one with the Celtics and the Heat. I think you guys know who I'm on the side on that one. Another good one here, Nuggets taking on the Knicks in New York, and Denver coming in here as a slight road favorite, 222.5 in this one. The Knicks are a team that, I don't know, with considering the Nuggets have so much trouble covering numbers, 8-15-1 on the road. The Knicks 11-7-1 at home. And the Knicks come in here favored 2, maybe even 2.5 at some spots. Now, Hartenstein's questionable for the Knicks, but maybe his job has been questionable. What we've seen of late from, some decent performances from the Knicks on this 4-game winning streak. They're really getting some great contributions from all around. They just beat Brooklyn. They covered. Wasn't a spectacular outing, but they got it done 108-103. They also clobbered Toronto. They beat Washington, couldn't get a big number, but they beat Houston at home and covered for covering 3 out of their last 4 games. So Denver, they don't, they struggle to cover anything. They've won 3 in a row, covered one of those games. It was the game against Boston. Remember that they won. But they pushed against the Wizards, laying a big number. And against the Pacers, remember they were able to pull off the upset in that one. Shorthanded, if I'm not mistaken, right? These two teams have not met yet this season. Knicks have been going under big time of late. Nearly every game right now has been an under for the Knicks. I think it's might be several in a row. 6 in a row, I think 6 or 7 in a row. Straight unders, 9 out of the last 10 here. Yep. And these, it was coming, you guys. I couldn't handle. I couldn't get to the. I couldn't get to the. To the screen to cover me up there. Apologize. All right. The Knicks come in 6-13 to the under at home. You guys probably thought I was frozen, like I was buffering. 6-13 to the under at home. Denver 8-15-1 to the under on the road, and 224. I mean, well, it's 222.5 now. It opened as high as 226, and I'm actually showing 222 at some places now. I mean, this feels like a dead solid under that we kind of maybe missed the boat on. So can the Knicks win this one? Can they buck all those trends? Kind of that not the trend, but the obvious, Denver weak on the road, and the Knicks pretty darn strong at home. 14-5 straight up. They've won 8 of 10. Here comes your comment. Thank you, guys. Sorry about that. That was embarrassing. Here's Mike on the Knicks. And Dre on the Knicks. Rich loves the under. Tim Humphrey, great to see you today. Talking about that St. John's game. Coach was yucking it up at the end of the game. And what did Justin say here? Knicks and the under. Jeff on the under. And maybe Fernandez says maybe that's what it feels like to me. Everything to me points to Denver. I think it feels like from my perspective, not in these type of trend games. Sometimes I'm not even worried about what the market's doing. I mean, I want that solid home against a weak road, but the Nuggets are certainly live in this. It feels like live in this game. Now here's Ray. And I don't know, it feels like to me like I want to be on the Nuggets in this one, even another road favorite. Could I do it? Am I that crazy? All right. Give me the Denver Nuggets here. Despite all that, I'm going to have to take them to win this game tonight. I'm only laying 2 or 2.5 at this point. I'm trying the Nuggets here. Here's Timmy Tushu. Man, I've took 3 of these road favorites. See if I can find a dog here. Oh my gosh, they don't get any worse than this right now. Here with the Timberwolves going up against the Nets, who are struggling mightily here at this point. The Nets continue to fail, and the Wolves, there was some controversy that came out of Minnesota following the 62-point performance by Cat. We talked about it yesterday. How Timberwolves were criticized for not playing a team game, and maybe it cost them in that game against Charlotte. They were 14-point favorites. You got a guy who scored half the points on the team, but you lose to one of the worst teams in the league. They did come back and beat Washington the next game, and pretty much got all the numbers and a double-digit spread. So we still look at Minnesota as a, top contending team. Every team's having blow-ups here and there. No big deal, but was kind of funny the way the comments of the coach came out. Basically said exactly what he was seeing on the court. They got wrapped up in a player having a big game and maybe cost him, even though it was a decent shooting percentage, but it was a lot of shots. Brooklyn is just 2-7-1 in their last 10 overall. Now Brooklyn's still a good proposition covering at home. They are 12-7-2 against the spread at home, but it hasn't been lately because they've been pretty much a disaster. They did win a game against the Lakers on the road of late, but that's about all the good they've done of late. They just came off of that loss to the Knicks. They didn't cover the spread in that one. They failed against the Clippers as well. So definitely had lots of problems here. Maybe it's just relative to really where they stand right now, because the Nets, maybe they were a big overachiever early. These two teams have not met yet this season. First meeting between the two. Nets are 12-9 to the over at home, and the Timberwolves are 14-9 to the over on the road. But these two teams aren't producing a ton of overs necessarily right now. Comments from the chat on the Timberwolves and the Nets. And Tim might be over here, but on the T-Wolves, it looks like Dre will lay it. And, talking a little bit about the back-to-back with the Wizards here. I mean, they played the Wizards, the Timberwolves here. They did pull away for the win. They led, then the Wizards came back, closed the gap considerably in the game. It seemed like they were well within the number, and then the Timberwolves started to get away again to get that money for some. But again, the Timberwolves may not have covered for maybe half the bets, maybe even more. Nets and under for Rich Stubbs. Timmy says, Nets do play better in the first half. Here's Mike with an over. The widely reported steam was on the under, but I think I'm kind of in agreement with Mike. I think I preferred over tabbed in this one. Conley is questionable with an illness. Cam Johnson questionable for the Nets with a shoulder injury. Those are the two. I think Jalen Clark also questionable for Minnesota. Still the way these Nets are going, man, it's really bad. And I know this total is low, but who on the Nets are going to stop some of these guys today? Quite frankly, right? I mean, uh, you got to figure Gobert can do stuff against Claxton. Even Gobert can, and he'll own the boards. Uh, Conley, you do want him in there. You do want him in there. I want the Timberwolves. I mean, I'm not going to worry about it now. I mean, Conley's not a big impact to the line, although an announcement may tack on a half a point against me. Brent has his projections. Hello to Brent. Thomas on the Wolves here. That would give me like 4 road favorites in 5 games. I knew it. All right. Thomas, okay. Let me see here. I agree with that, Rich. I agree with that. That's why I'm on it. I think that's the deal, right? Especially with how poor these Nets have been. But the back of my mind is saying like Ramon handicapper, do not take road favorites, do not take every road favorite. Are you some amateur up here? Give me the Timberwolves. I'll buy into it with. I'm not gonna say Rich's name or anything like that, and put the. We're never gonna pass the blame. We'll take all responsibility for these 4 road favorites. And I don't know if I'm going to get off the next one either. Oh my gosh. Because it's the Kings and the Warriors, and the Warriors on the back to back after the emotional victory last night for their stricken coach. And it was emotional at the beginning of the game with the tribute and the good game. The Hawks battled, but the Warriors pulled away in the end and crushed the Hawks. And now they've got to play well, their closest rivals to a certain extent. I mean, I know the Lakers are the Warriors, rival for the most part, but the Kings' rival is the Warriors. So the Kings will be favored here right now. It looks like by 1 and maybe even 2. Let's call it 2. It's 2 everywhere, and the total is 242.5. Widely reported steam, though, came in on the Warriors, quite frankly, but it's the Kings starting to get the attention of bettors here, it looks like right now, and bookmakers coming into this one. You got to figure Fox can have a big day against Steph, but probably vice versa. I mean, Fox he just stands there pretty much. I mean, but the guards of Sacramento should have a pretty big day. I would think, pretty big night. I would think, right? All right. So could I do it again? I can't believe I'm laying all these road favorites. I might not even come on here tomorrow and just where is Chad? I mean, come on. Did he dump me like that? Just like that. And everyone leaves me in the end, you guys. I'm surprised we got 60 in here, staying here with all these road favorites today, but why not? You got the Kings are 13-7 against the spread on the road this season. The Warriors are 7-14-2 at home against the spread. It's not been great. I mean, this is a total roll for the Kings and not great for the Warriors, certainly. But the Kings are, slumping to say the least. Now, you could kind of make the comparison of where the two teams stand with the common opponents because the Kings did beat Atlanta 122-107 as an 8.5-point favorite in this one. Right? Where is Chad, Brent? The guy's got his own segment. He's winning the segment, and I said I was 33% against him. Wasn't good enough. Wasn't good enough for Chad. So we're not going to talk about him because he's not here, but I miss him already. I mean, I can't have a Chad challenge without Chad. we'll get somebody else to step up and beat the tar out of me. Here is Sacramento, 122 to 107. They beat Atlanta in that last game, and the Warriors game was 134 to 122. They beat Atlanta, these Atlanta Hawks. They don't know what's going on here. Warriors over in this one for Justin. Oh, don't say that, Thomas. Weren't we all, Perky? Brent's got his projections in this game. Thomas ready for Draymond. Stephen A had the epic rant yesterday about guess what Stephen A talked about, was it yesterday or the day, that the Warriors aren't the same team they've been over the last decade. Well, no duh. Good one, Stephen A. So, I don't know. I like the Kings. I mean, I know they're all road favorites. What can I do? I look at a game. Don't you like the Kings in this one against the Warriors on the back to back? Off the emotional thing, it just feels like the way the Warriors are performing now. Granted, maybe at home they really haven't. I was going to say a little bit better, but they really haven't. They're 12-11 at home, and they're the Warriors. Everybody loves the Kings. Look how square I am. They better record than the Warriors. We know that. We'll say this too, and I don't know if it pertains to this game. Maybe it does because of what I said about the spread records of the teams, right? Kings are great on the road against the spread. Warriors are poor against the spread at home. Well, the Kings are 19-13 straight up as a favorite, and the Warriors are 4-13 straight up as an underdog. Now, maybe because, at home and away, it's a little bit opposite here. You don't get the Kings as a road favorite too often. They're 5-5 as a road favorite. Warriors is a home dog. Let's see, or no, I'm sorry. Let me get that straight. Kings is a dog, 5-5. Okay, well, I'm not going to equate it to that. I know it's confusing for a guy like me, I guess. Oh, you guys were wondering about Draymond's status in the game. Oh, okay. I thought it was already I thought it was already concluded that we had Draymond. Let me see. Did I miss something here?
System play.
Okay. He played 23 minutes last game with 12 points. He's not on my injury list, so I'm not sure if you guys knew of an injury or. Okay. Okay, yeah, no doubt about it. He was out there. No, I mean that, and again, that's one of the things. Maybe Draymond can come back and help this team. We want Draymond to be a better guy, but it doesn't. No, I guess no commentary on Dre. Just prove it, right? Here's the thing. Maybe hey, Draymond will do anything to get ahead. But he'll do anything to get ahead. It's only cheating if you get caught. That's what I would think. Thank you, Perky. System play. Are these system plays going to come through today for us? I don't know. All they're telling me is take road favorites. We're on this game too long, guys. I'm sorry about that. We're getting off track with my attention span. So, all right, I'm on the Kings here. All these road favorites. I'll be embarrassed when they don't come, and they'll probably just go 50-50. It feels like, right? That's what'll happen probably. One more in the NBA here, Bulls and Lakers, and this doesn't feel like a great situation for the Lake. Like, they're the team, right? Catch them off guard. That's when they will win, when they're prepared. They'll lose. I don't know. But I don't think I'd want to lay any points here with the Lakers tonight, even against the Bulls. Look, I mean, we've talked about the Bulls and their success. Yeah, they lost to Phoenix last time out, but they did cover. They played competitively in that game a few nights ago. They've actually had a couple of nights off here on the road trip, so maybe they're a little bit rested here, but they've been on the road quite a bit of late. So there may be a little bit of something to that. The big two for the Lakers are, of course, on the injured list, but I think we're going to expect to see them both here tonight. The line currently is 4.5 and 228.5, just like it says there on the screen. Now, Cam Reddish is out for the Lakers right in this one. And Zach LaVine still out, of course. Patrick Williams upgraded to probable. I think that is a notable addition. The Lakers are off that loss to the Clippers. They've had some decent performances of late, but they're not the best spread team around. We know that. Lakers here, 9-16 at home to the under this season. And the widely reported steam came in on the over. I would think if the Bulls are going to compete, it's because they're going to be scoring. Okay, Trey does agree with that. He's going over, but Mike says Bulls and under. And projection here, Brent does see the Lakers in a pretty good spot. And I just saw it in that game against the Clipper. I mean, it came right on the number pretty well. No, it was an 11-point, right? Lakers didn't cover. We actually laid it with the Clippers on the show that night and got it done. Fernando's on the Bulls. Tim's on the over. Good to have Tim. Good contributions today, too. Hi, Ari. Nice to see you today. And
System play.
There's some more, Berkey. They're systeming it up. Systemic. All right. Let's see here if we're going to make the call in this one. Well, I think I already kind of gave it away, but widely reported steam, like I said, did come in on the over. I mean, I don't know. I kind of like it maybe to go over here in this one, but man, I never liked the Lakers in a spot like this. It feels like I want to take the Bulls to hang in there and be competitive here today. So give me the Bulls tonight. I think we're going to see a higher scoring game tonight, and I think that's going to help the Bulls. I think that kind of pace will help the Bulls. Thanks, you guys, for a look at the NBA. Rich does have it, a close game. Lakers win. I've got several college basketball games that I'm going to look at today. Hope you're interested in some of them. It's mid-major day, so get your pens, papers, and scorecards ready maybe here for some of these. They're important games in their respective conferences, so that's why I wanted to take a look and maybe make a pick on some of these games tonight. The card does start kind of early at 5 Eastern and 2 Pacific, but I'm going to move down to the regular times here and start with all right, we're ready to roll here with college basketball and a big game tonight in the Kelowna. I can't say it. I can't say Coastal yet. Coastal Athletic Association, the CAA, the former Colonial. I can't get it right every time I see the teams, and it's been all season. So here we are with the reason why this is the big one, though, in the Coastal Athletic Association. Well, not the big one, but you do have Drexel 7-0. top the standings right now, and they're going to take on Towson. And Towson does have 2 losses, but they're a 1-point favorite last I checked. Let's take a look at the odds here for this one. I know there's already been some widely reported steam on Towson, but they're still mostly 1.5 at circa. The total is indeed about 125 here in this one. And can Towson handle Drexel today and give them their first loss of the season? Towson comes in 11-8 overall, while Drexel comes in at 14-6. These 2 teams met last season, both twice. They met twice last season, of course, and both teams won on their home court, although Towson won at home 64-58. They did not cover. Drexel was able to cover their home game last year. Towson so far is 6-3 against the spread at home. They've covered 7 of their last 10 games, including win over Campbell last time out by 34 points as an 8-point favorite. They also won and covered at Charleston as an 11-point dog in an upset. So it's been a real nice run here for Towson as well, making some noise. Drexel, Williams, a pretty big star for the Dragons, but I think Towson might be in a pretty decent position. They've been winning these conference games as well. They beat Stony Brook in overtime at home. They beat Wilmington. They did lose to Monmouth on the road. And Drexel right now comes in with a 7-game winning streak to run up these standings, all 7 in conference, including road wins and 3 consecutive road wins. We know how it works in college. I mean, yes, while they did take a trip over the weekend a couple weeks ago to win at William and Mary in North Carolina A&T, they also won a 3rd straight road game at Elon. Actually, the trip was A&T and Elon over the weekend, but just want to note something tough to do, win 3 straight road games, no matter who you are. Obviously, if you're a superpower or something, maybe not, but in conference, 3 straight road games, not a road trip. One of them was a 2-game trip over the weekend, but nonetheless. So good game in the Coastal in this one. I do respect that widely reported steam, I think, that came in on Towson, but I also was looking at the total, and with so many games today, well, we'll see what you guys have, if anything. Let's see. All right. Which one, Joe? Back in the basket, back in the NBA with the Laker game on the Bulls? I mean, I liked the Bulls, if that's the one we're talking about. Okay, Fernando on Towson here. And also Mike on Towson. And I was maybe preferring Towson here in this one. The widely reported steam on Towson. I know Drexel's undefeated, but man, I kind of like Towson as well. And I think I prefer the under here too. And so with a lot of games, I'm going to do a double play. I won my double play yesterday with Alabama and under. So give me Towson and under here. 125 also is going to be pretty tough, obviously, to get under, but I'll take it under. I'm not shy. Towson's 6-12 to the under so far this season. They're also 3-6 to the under at home. They've been going over in a few games certainly of late, and several of them were similarly lined here, including their last game against Campbell that I mentioned, when only went for 120 points in that 77-43 game. But they also went under in their game against Northeastern that only went for 126, and it was lined at 128. but they did go over in games against Stony Brook and Wilmington at home that were lined similarly, lined above this, 128 and 129. So maybe the 4 points could be an indicator that it could be a little lower scoring. I don't know, but I'm going under. Towson and under. All right, a little bit bigger here anyway, and always interesting to talk about North Texas, the country's slowest team or second slowest, depends, I guess. But no doubt, one of the uh, slowest paced teams. I'll get it for you right now. I'll tell you. But this is just the way North Texas plays it. And I don't know if they can, play their game necessarily here against SMU like that, especially given that SMU, decently paced offensively. But North Texas certainly with their slow, taking their old sweet time every possession. The Mean Green. SMU here favored by 1.5. The total is actually down, I think, to 126 even. So maybe a little bit of move here on SMU. They did take the widely reported steam, and so did the under. The biggest moves, anyway, the biggest reported moves have come in on SMU and the under in this game. This one's on ESPN2 tonight at 7 Eastern and 4 Pacific. Northeastern comes in off of a loss against Charlotte. They only scored 44 points. That's what happens sometimes to North Texas. They were on a 6-game winning streak before that, 5 of them against D1 opponents, and they struggled in some non-conference games, certainly, losing to teams like St. John's, LSU, Boise, and Mississippi State. They also lost to Fordham. For SMU here, and again, this one rates pretty high right now in the AAC. You got SMU with 1 loss, North Texas with 1 loss. The teams ahead of them also only have 1 loss, but they've played more games. Florida Atlantic's already 6-1, Charlotte is 6-1, and South Florida is 5-1. So, you got North Texas here coming in, like I said, after the loss to Charlotte. They were on a winning streak. They were also covering plenty of numbers here. North Texas 6-2 against the spread at home, but SMU 5-1 against the spread on the road, and they've been covering every game out right now. SMU's on fire. They've won 8 of their last 10. They're 9-0-1 against the spread in their last 10 games. They're on a 3-game winning streak with wins against Tulsa, Temple, and East Carolina. They covered the spread in 2 of those. The game against Temple was mostly a push. But SMU, one of the hottest spread teams in the country right now, doing the business. And that was a perky shout out, I think. But SMU on the road here feels like the better team. I mean, North Texas really looked bad last game. I don't want to just I don't want to chalk up just one game. But again, when you're North Texas, you can really look bad with the way they play, and you only score 44 points. It does feel uncomfortable to a certain extent. SMU, they've covered 5 straight on the road. I mean, you don't need to know all this. I mean, they're just a covering machine right now. North Texas has gone under in 5 of their last 6 games. They've won only 16 straight games at home. So what are you going to do? Can SMU come in here and buck that right now? North Texas, they've won 6 of 7 straight up. I mean, I feel like SMU is the better team. All right. Get your comments, if any, here with SMU and North Texas. These games are good. Thomas here on SMU. And Mike maybe on the under. Tony, I didn't have App State selected, but it was a 16-point spread. So if you want it, maybe we can come back. Don't let me forget. Perky loves SMU. Justin's got him. Okay, that's good enough for me, you guys. I'm glad you guys are on them because I am too, and I'm hesitant. Like I said, 16 in a row for North Texas at home. Now, granted, you got to take into account it does go back, to last season, but still, some of these home games before conference. Remember, they played uh, uh, Arlington, Mississippi Valley. Two of the games were non-division one games. They beat Omaha at home. They beat Northern Iowa at home, and then dating back to last year. But those were conference games. Remember how hot they were. Remember they were the ones that went on a tournament run. Remember they were. They would have been Cinderella if not for Florida Atlantic and my Aztecs to a certain extent. Remember the postseason run North Texas, um, had. All right. And again, they play that. You can compare. I don't know. You compare them to like a Houston, like a poor man's Houston or something like that. Why they always play? Why are these teams playing like that down there? Give me SMU. I'll take them with you guys. Let's keep going. Oakland and Green Bay. Well, what a wasn't this a Super Bowl or something? One Oakland here favored by 2.5 on the road in this one. It's a big one. And let's talk about it here as we get ready to preview this matchup. Let me go to it here. All right. On the road, another man. What's up, road favorites today? Everywhere you look. All right, for the Golden Grizzlies, they come in here right now with a record of 12-8, but a 6-game winning streak currently in the Horizon League. Here, they've found their way to the top of the standings. This is the first place and the second place teams right now in the Horizon League by themselves for the most part. Oakland is 7-2, Green Bay 12-9, 7-3 in conference, and they've got Oakland here at home. They've already played the first meeting between the two. It was won by Oakland the fourth straight time. Oakland has beaten Green Bay 79-73. Oakland won at home as an 8.5-point favorite. However, Green Bay is 6-1 against the spread at home this season. But Oakland, one of the best road spread teams in the country, 9-3 ATS on the road. Green Bay's been hot, covering 8 of their last 10. Oakland's been favored in too many games, favored by too many points in their games. Despite their winning streak, they've only covered one of their last 4 games. They failed to cover in that game against Green Bay, as I mentioned. They failed to cover against Northern Kentucky. They failed to cover against Youngstown, but those games were at home. They did beat IUPUI, a very bad team, by 22 points on the road, but covered 12. Yeah, probably the 2 best players in the conference here, and Noah Reynolds of Green Bay and Trey Townsend of the Golden Grizzlies. Oakland is 8-4 to the over on the road. Green Bay 4 overs in 7 home games. See if you guys probably not much maybe here. Thomas says don't forget about Youngstown today. Okay, maybe we can come back to don't let me forget, Thomas. I just thought looking at the current standings, I mean Youngstown certainly right there as well, just a game back in the standings, but they're playing IUPUI. That's why I didn't pick it here. I mean, they were a 14-point favorite on the road. So did want to pick some close game. Oh, here we go with Timmy Two Shoes, Green Bay in the under. Justin's on Green Bay, and Mike is on Green Bay. Oh, boy, you guys are on Green Bay. Okay. Maybe I'll I wasn't as hot on the side anyways, I definitely wasn't. There was no, let's see, 771, 772. By the way, I quote the widely reported Steam, and you can check my work. Now, whether or not you trust the widely reported Steam or not, it is listed in the Discord. The Discord is at the top of the chat. You can go in the Discord and see the list of plays that were steamed according to Don Best line service prior to me taking the air. There's certainly plenty of them been going off in the background, as you've been hearing. But you can see some of the moves that I talked about, such as that, I believe that SMU game, the SMU and under, right in that Discord. You can see that Steam that I put in there and see what it was and see what it is now and see how much it's moved, maybe if you're interested or not. So in here, I'll just take the under. I felt like I was going to go premium in this game under, but I'm not sure on the side. I'm glad you guys like Green Bay. I'm not quite sure. I do kind of want to give Oakland a bit of a chance here, I think, because of that winning streak currently. But maybe in the I'm not even going to comment. Let me just go with the under. That's my confident play. Probably was going to head to my premium ticket. Well, plenty of premiums here. I'm sure I got at least 5 to 7 premiums on the card, and we're heating up big time in college basketball, as you're supposed to. This is the time of year. All right. This is okay. Hey, I mean, look, this is mid-major day. I want to be consistent here in talking about the biggest games from all the conferences around the country, and this one would definitely have to be considered as a big game today between Grand Canyon and Stephen F. Austin. It's number 2 on the KenPom meter today, is the second biggest game. So I think it kind of shows where Grand Canyon stands in the overall, right? They're like a top 60 or so in the KP numbers because they're 17-2 now, creeping up ever so. Could they, they'll probably reach the as typically happens sometimes with these outliers. Call them an outlier. Great program. I mean, anybody who watches Grand Canyon, there are crowds at home. They get it, right? And they would be more apt to sneak into like the top 25 before they would ever get into the analytic rankings. That's just the nature of it, because Grand Canyon's such a super hot story. They lost. I mean, I'm trying to talk them up, but they had that long winning streak snap, the 15 game winning streak, whatever it was. They had one game in there against a non-D1, but they were on a long winning streak before they lost to Seattle last time out for their conference loss, putting extra emphasis on this game today against Austin here. Austin comes in 5-2, tied for second with Tarleton, and Grand Canyon is a game and a half in front of them at 7-1. Grand Canyon, the two best players in the league, and Tyan Grant Foster and Gabe McLaughlin, and certainly Stephen F. Austin at home can be a bit of a menace here, certainly. I mean, right now, Stephen F. Austin, 6-2 straight up at home. They've favored quite a bit in conference, so their spread numbers are not very good at all, despite their 12-6 record. But right now, they've won their last 2 games against Southern Utah, and they did beat Seattle at home 89-84, but they didn't cover the spread. And for Grand Canyon right now, before that loss, we talked about the winning streak. These two teams met a couple of times last season, and both teams won at home. Stephen F. Austin did win here at home, 73-68 as a 3-point favorite in that one. But we all know Grand Canyon, they've got it going on here a little bit. Even with that loss, I mean, Seattle has their moments a little bit at home. I quite frankly, I didn't think Seattle was looking as good as they have in some of the last couple of years of late, but they've made a little bit of noise here over the last few games for sure. All right. I'm not actually sure where I could possibly go with the side in this one. I would think that Grand Canyon should be good enough to keep this rolling. I don't know if they can lose two in a row here right now, but I'm going to go under in this one. Let's see if I think the total's probably dropped. I mean, the sharps are kind of pushing the under here already. Well, it's 150.5. Oh, it's okay. Seems like we still get a pretty good number. An open eye is 152. I like this one. Let's go under in GCU and Stephen F. tonight. Here's Mike on Stephen F. Hello to Lex today. Rich Stubbs will take Grand Canyon. Lex will take Grand Canyon. And Justin was on Stephen F. So we're split. We're split. And it looks like Mike has it under as well. Looks like he's saying this one's in a high 130s. Kind of agree with that. All right, continue on. Hey, I know this one looks a little lopsided. Why the reported steam came in on San Francisco here, and San Francisco is a team that, I was on kind of early here. We started getting the season rolling. I think we previewed a game or two with the Dons, and I talked about how I thought they were going to be able to. You're never going to give Gonzaga the true challenge here, even though, I mean, maybe the talk is that this could be the season that we could see some type of slip up with the Zags, but I don't know if that's ever going to be the case this year. Now looking at it, I mean, Gonzaga already here with their 4-1 start, and they'll have to chase down St. Mary's here certainly after the loss that they suffered to Santa Clara, but. This feels like not the same Gonzaga. I get that. Losses are still to impressive teams for Gonzaga. It's still typical Gonzaga. They lost not only to Santa Clara on the road. Santa Clara's, doing pretty well, typical Santa Clara bunch, but they've lost to San Diego State, Connecticut, Washington, and Purdue. So those are all strong opponents. Now the Dons, they are coming off of the loss of their own to St. Mary's, and that's kind of what's kind of thrown things in for a loop here right now in the West Coast Conference. Before that, San Francisco started conference play 4-0 and was on a 7-game winning streak before the loss to St. Mary's. But why the reported steam came in here on San Francisco, and I'm not sure I'm buying it. I mean, I every time I see San Francisco out there, it seems like I don't want to be that guy. Hey, every time I bet on them, they lose. But I don't know. I'm going to probably favor Gonzaga here by double digits. Talk about square. All right. San Francisco's 15-5 overall. They're not really even in the race here at this point, in my opinion. I mean, they're probably going to lose this game. Now I'm, thinking they might cover, but still, they do have their one loss. Did come, as I said, to St. Mary's last time out, and they've got to play still at St. Mary's later this year. They were the one that I wanted to give them a chance instead of the usual suspect St. Mary's and even Santa Clara. So the talking heads are out there a little bit. I've seen some videos already that this is a good spot for San Francisco to jump up and bite them here, surprise them, maybe get the number. Gonzaga not great against the spread right now, and San Francisco mostly a great favorite at this point. They're just 2-2 against the spread as an underdog. They're 11-4 against the spread as a favorite. So to me, it doesn't even feel like their best role. San Francisco's gone over in 8 of their last 10 games overall. I wasn't sure on the total. Let me take the Zags today. I'm going to take the Zags. I'm going to lay 9 points. Is it 9? It is right now Gonzaga favored here in this one by 9, pretty much across the board, 9 minus 15 at Bovada. All right. Looks like not much. Timmy's on the over in this one. You guys see, the higher the spreads go, the less you're interested, it feels like. Over, says Mike. All right, I got a couple more here. And I'll go out to the Pac 12 for a game. I mean, not the most important matchup of the season, but one that does have a little bit of an effect here in the standings, the way it's going in the wild Pac 12. At this point, it's getting kind of goofy, to say the least, with multiple losses here for all these top teams, including Arizona State. That's why they're in the conversation here. Both these teams are 5-2, tied for first in the Pac-12 with the Arizona Wildcats. And I mean, even with the Colorado Buffaloes with 3 losses, Stanford 5-3, these feels like they can still be live here in this season. So Arizona State, though, going on the road, they are a 9-point underdog here, I believe. Oregon did take the widely reported steam. It's up to 9.5 now. It's up to 10 at Bet Online. So feels like is the public already ready to hammer Oregon, laying a big number at home? No, I feel like this is more like sharp action to a certain extent. Justin says he wants Arizona State. And I get it. I mean, it's only going up. I'm giving Justin 10 points. I mean, I feel like I might be on the opposite side of Justin just because I don't like to fade him. But maybe I am favoring the Ducks today in this one. Sharps are also hitting the under here a little bit, but I'm not as impressed by that one as I am by Oregon here. I think I'm going to have Oregon as a blowout and go ahead and lay 10 points. It's not very comfortable. I probably wouldn't do it as a premium now. Widely reported steam, as I said, did come in on Oregon. All right, let's see here. Maybe a few notes on the game. I feel pretty certain I'm going to go ahead and lay it. Oregon, they've won all 3 games. They've won by 8, 5, and 7 at home so far, but they are 11-0 when they allow less than 80 points. You look at the total here, you're looking at a game that's supposed to be in the range of, I guess, 75 to 68, 76, 68, 79, 68 or so. So Oregon 5-4 against top 100s. Arizona State's won 5 of their last 7. They're a top 40 team in forcing turnovers, but 269th in effective field goal percentage. Ducks shoot 37.5% from the arc. Arizona State's won 3 of the last 4 between these two teams. And we'll mention Sun Devils have won the last 2 trips here to Eugene by 2 points and by 17 points. And I will also Pac-12 home favorites so far this season, laying 8 points or more, are just 4 and 8 against the spread. But I'm going to go ahead and take Oregon. Hopefully you can use this information if you're liking Arizona State to pump you up a little bit. I'm just kind of looking at it, I think, from maybe more of a personnel standpoint in this one. Hey, look, I'm happy for Arizona State. Even if I'm not necessarily a big, I don't know, I'm so hot and cold with Bobby Hurley, it feels like sometimes. But good job. They still have some pretty, disturbing. They lost to San Diego. They also have lost to UCLA. Wasn't looking too good, and they were at home in that one. They come off the win against USC. All right. Any more? Oregon not laying 10. I get it. I guess I am. One more. No, that's it. That's all I've got in the college. Oh, no, 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 no. I've got one more. I think I've got one more here. Yes. A big one in the Big West. That's what I'm talking about. Irvine, the Anteaters on the road here, going up against the 49ers of Long Beach State. Irvine on the road here, minus 3. They're half a game out of first place, 6-1 record. Long Beach is 4-3 in conference right now, but obviously at home, a short home dog. Hey, want to mention right now, I know I just gave out, or no, I did not give it out, but talked about the San Francisco Gonzaga game just moments ago. This total is on the move higher right now. A little bit of breaking news. So this game too, right now is up to 154. So we're seeing some sharp totals moves, including that um, Gonzaga game. The total up to 141 right now. In that Gonzaga game, the total is, I'm sorry, not 141, 151, 152. San Francisco Gonzaga total on the move. Total on the move here as well, up to 154.5. This one's getting hit right now. And the line looks like it's still Irvine 3, but this total is on the move higher. It was already hit earlier at like 152, and they're banging it again right now in this one with Irvine and Long Beach. I don't know. I didn't give it out just yet, but maybe they're reading my mind. I'm not sure I'm sold on it necessarily with 152 now and the 3-point spread. I think if anything, I'd probably lean to Irvine here to get another road win possibly in this one. So I'm reporting this team. I'm not necessarily following it here tonight, but do want to take a look a little more in depth at the matchup here between these two. Irvine's won 6 of their last 7 games. Irvine has one of the best interior defenses in the country statistically. They allow teams just 43.5% shooting inside the 3-point arc. Irvine just 3-6 on the road straight up this season. Long Beach started 9-4, but they've split their last 6 now and they've lost 3 conference games. They have some nice wins here this season, some wins over some top 100s like USC and Michigan. So, Long Beach getting a pretty good job here. They've lost 2 of their last 3, but you're never going to discount Coach Monson in conference play. It feels like, Long Beach 5-1 in games decided by 7 points or less, and they are just a 3-point dog here. So feels like it's going to be a close game, and maybe it would favor Long Beach at the Pyramid where they play their games. Contrast of styles. Long Beach certainly one of the faster teams around. They're like top 20 in tempo, while Irvine is like a top 150-ish or so. But Irvine's got the better team. They've been around together a little bit over the couple of years here. Long Beach coming in again off of a win over Hawaii. They also have conference wins over Fullerton, Poly, and Riverside. Irvine had that 6-game winning streak snapped to open conference play when they lost to Davis on the road last time out in a game that featured just 106 points. So got a real contrast of styles. Irvine has won 5 of the last 7 between the two teams. And Big West home underdogs usually aren't that bad, but I'm going to try Irvine here. I just think they're the better, more complete team that's been around a little bit. That's going to be a look at college basketball. Oh, and maybe I could come back and cover those games you guys asked about. I didn't think it was, Rich. I didn't think it was a good move. Maybe I'll wait for more. Maybe if it gets hit again, I could consider it. It's a game that I'm probably more willing to trust the market on. That's how I do things. I mean, look, the market sometimes is never going to get me off an opinion. We're all like that, right? I know I get broad brushed as someone who only plays the market, maybe on my own doing, because that's what I analyze so much. But a game like this, I could be swayed by the market into playing the total in that Stanford game. Thank you, Brent, for your numbers on that Oregon game. That was a look at college basketball. Got some of you guys on Long Beach, a lot of you guys on Long Beach in that game against Irvine. So it's Ramon against the Chad, it looks like, in that one. All right, I've got some hockey. Let's get to it. It's a pretty long card. And hey, we're doing all right. We're not going to go 3 hours today. No phone calls from the head office, so we'll just do it at our pace. Appreciate about 60 of you sitting here right now. Oh my gosh, I want to say hello. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, don't forget about those other college basketball. Sorry, but also want to say, Dr. Flush, hello. Great to have you. Tony says, do I think that San Fran and Gonzaga over is a decent pick? I'm not sure it is yet, Tone. I'm not sure it is. Well, I know what you're saying because of the because of the different price. That's a great point. Thank you for pointing that out. Yes, of course. I am all about that, quite frankly. It'd be a lot, I mean, I guess I'd only lay off, right? But if you're looking at a rogue line like a 149.5, or if you're playing the cards, or the other, I know they have some different forms of sports betting up there. Love that for sure, Tony. I wish I was there to play that with you. Appreciate that. Oh, okay. Thomas has already taken Youngstown. All right, Thomas. I was gonna look. What was the other one too? You guys help. Youngstown and IUPUI. If I let me see what I'm clicking in on here and see. Okay, I'm going to write it down. Thomas here likes Youngstown, laying the double digits on the road. Thomas, will take the under in that game. We'll not break it down. We'll just kind of move on. But what was the other? Did someone also had mentioned? Help you guys. Doctor was asking about that ASU game. We just previewed it, Dr. Flush, and I took Oregon. Everyone else in the chat, I believe, was on ASU. So let me see. I'll scroll back a little bit. I know somebody asked one other game, and I apologize. App State. That's what it was. Hey, we'll mention right now. Let me tell you. Interestingly, the game that we just talked about is on the move lower. Well, not the last one, but Arizona State and Oregon. That total, I said, hey, maybe I'll wait, maybe I'll see. Well, it's moving under right now to 144 at circa. This one's being hit under right now. Arizona State and Oregon is on the move with steam under. That's why you're here with me in the morning on some of these moves. If you like it under, get on it right now. If you like it over, just wait. The public loves the game over. It's going to be one of those where if you look at the betting splits, right? And I'm not here to lecture anybody. This probably, come back and tell me if I'm wrong on prediction. The tickets will be on the over in Arizona State and Oregon. The money will be on the under, and the spread will continue to move under. In situations like that, betting market analysts will tell you that take the sharps, go with the under. I'm not ready to make that call yet, but if you probably know that already, but that's kind of how they talk about when the quote unquote sharp money. You don't need because I'm so. I don't need somebody telling me every second like I have it to tell me it's happening. But you could just watch the market all day. And that's why I have those alerts on. So I can go check it out when it happens and tell you guys about it. Look, Bello said under in that game. Lex is ready to go on hockey. Let's go. Right. Let me look at Appalachian State though, real quick. See if I have a play there. At least I can go with the play. We got to get going on hockey. And hey, I mean, we had so many winners in basketball and hockey. Oh, Georgia Southern App State. I was already leaning under. Market is totally under. It's totally getting slammed to the under. It was as high as 143.5. I think it's now down to what, 141.5 at some spot, 141 at Bet Online. This one's got to be going under to me. Appalachian State is a 16.5 point favorite, and Georgia Southern is going to have plenty of problems here. Whether or not they cover, I'm not sure, but you have a 15-4 team against a 4-15 team. 16-point spread. Georgia Southern's going to have some problems, I would think, covering or, well, scoring. Let's just say maybe it'll land 15 to 18, but I'll take the under. Georgia Southern and Appalachian State for sure. The Sharps are all over the under in that game. Wasn't necessarily widely reported steam, but the Sharps are pushing that one under for sure. I don't think Joe Square is out there pushing totals down 2 points on, low limits. We always make fun of low limits, but remember, a lot of times, yes, the pros do like to get advantage when those higher limits do open up. They're not betting those higher limits as much late. Maybe they are on some late action, some injury news or whatever, but pros are going to make their living off low limit bets early on, taking advantage of bad lines, just betting, nickels or, places where they can get 1 or 2 dimes on openers. So even for a professional like me, I mean, remember, I play the landscape, so not firing nickels on the openers myself. I'm playing serious amounts over a lot of games. Maybe different from the way you bet out there. Like they always say, everyone's got their own cup of tea. All right, Bruins. Let's get to it. Bruins and Senators here in this one. And the Bruin, right? Favored here. Talked about this one a little bit last night with some friends of mine. They had a great hockey discussion on the card. Want to say shout out to my friends if they're here today watching. And maybe a few of these plays are inspired by their contributions. But here are the Bruins on the road, a road favorite, and I talked about it with them last night. I think the Bruins can be trusted here against the Senators right now. The Bruins are back to being on a roll, it feels like, at this point. And, they feel like the forgotten team with all these other hot teams popping up here every single day. It seems like people forget that Boston is one of the best teams in the league, game in, game out. We know that Boston's won 5 of their last 6 games. They've won 15 of the last 19 meetings against Ottawa overall. Boston's gone over in 4 of their last 6 on the road. However, the last 10 meetings here between these two teams in Ottawa, 8 of them have gone under. Ottawa's gone over, however, in 6 of their last 8 games. 7 of the last 8 meetings between these two teams have gone under. These teams have not met yet so far this season, believe it or not. Total's gone over in 5 of Ottawa's last 7 games at home as well. I talked about their over tendencies in general, but this series has gone under in 3 straight, despite what I said about the series here, where 8 of the last 10 under here in Boston. They did have an over game here last season, 7-5. Ottawa actually won that one. Ottawa won 3 of the matchups last season, or no, 2 of the matchups, 2-2 last season. That's what it was. Boston won both their home games, 3-1 and 2-1. Interestingly enough, the games at Ottawa here were high scoring. The games at Boston last season were low scoring. All right, I saw some of the comments already as I kind of got ahead of the game there. Have have to scroll way back to find the
Final.
play, but it was Lex with the Senators here, though. He likes him in this one. And so is Fernando. He likes the under as well. And Lex talking about, Bruins coming in off the back-to-back yesterday. The loss, right, against Carolina. Hey, we gave out Carolina on the show, so maybe I have the Bruins pegged okay, but got to respect Lex coming in here talking about it. Ray's on the Bruins, Bobby's on the Senators. So, it's definitely a two-way street here, it feels like, with this one. Hey, I tell you what, I mean, I like the total too. So I'll go ahead and lay Boston here. I'll go against you guys just because I want to reserve this total. I know it's kind of high, maybe too high to stomach for some people if they want to go, because I'm seeing 6.5s out there, but feels like the Senators will give it up actually. But if you guys got Senators, right, the Senators aren't going to win. I just said last year's games were high scoring here. Oh, Tony says that he is a Senators fan and they are a mess. Yeah, it does. But they've won a couple of games here. They've won 3 or 4 and played pretty well over this stretch. But and again, they played well against Boston last year. But there, no doubt, Tony says they're in rebuild. They beat Montreal. They beat Philadelphia. A couple of road wins. So this is about as good as they've played in several weeks, no doubt about it right now with Ottawa. But they're still just 6-18 as an underdog this season. Boston 6. Well, we gave a lot of those numbers. Let's move on. Thanks also for those comments, though, from Tony, who was in Ottawa, or at least close. All right. The Islanders and the Canadians here. And, well, there's a sidebar to this story. Yeah, Patrick Waugh was already a coach in the league for several years with the Avalanche. He's been back to Montreal, certainly a little bit where, he spent part of his time. But here, the Islanders going to be a big road favorite here against poor old Montreal, 6.5 under 20 or 6 over 25. We'll see what the closest line is here in just a moment.
System play.
And see what's going on with you guys in this one, because tough, Islanders on the road, Montreal in a bit of a funk right now with a 3-game losing streak. I've been ready to kind of fade my guys here, I think, a little bit, probably in this one too. Man, I'm on a lot of road favorites. Hey, any sport, road favorites. Oh, whoopee. Boston has let's see, Boston. Let me get to my notes on this one with the Isles. Isles are in a bit of a funk as well. Certainly of late, they're coming off that loss to Vegas, 3-2 last time out at home here a couple of nights ago. They did beat Dallas at home 3-2, but we're on a losing streak before that. Islanders have lost 5 of their last 6 games. They've lost 5 straight on the road. Islanders have also lost 5 of their last 7 games here in Montreal. Islanders are 1-5 on the puck line, I believe. Let me see what that. Let me get that straight. 1-5 straight up in their last 6, 0-5 straight up on the road in their last 5. These two teams met for one of their other meetings so far already this season. Back on December 16th, Montreal won here 5-3 at home. Montreal won it. Montreal just 4-12 last 16 games at home, 2-6 last 8 overall. So I'm not feeling very confident at this point with the Canadians. The Islanders looked good in their first game with Patrick Waugh as coach, and we'll see. I mean, that's just one game, but they obviously were having a bit of dysfunctionality. So probably just favor the Islanders here. I think I like the total quite a bit, so I'm not going to give it away here necessarily on the show because it might be a premium. I did mention, I mean, certainly these teams have somewhat of a tendency to go over. Islanders are 14-8 to the over on the road. They're pretty much an over team overall. Montreal does tend slightly to the over, but they've been going under here, I believe, over. Two of the last three over. Okay, I think I'll leave it at that. I'm going to be on the total here. I think it's a premium, so let me just roll with the Isles here today. And this one on the road, $1.55 or so, and maybe Patrick Waugh can get another win. You guys having this one? Anything good? Here is a Fernando lean Canadians. And Dre's on the Isles. And Tony says Montreal's in rebuild mode. Oh, Tony, welcome to the last 25 years. You know that. And Fernando, I didn't even talk about firing up the old goalie computer, make sure we got these goalies right. But that's what I saw in here right now. Varlamov, yeah, he's actually now likely. The beat writers confirmed, and Sam in goal for Montreal here. So this is going to be big for Varlamov. He's been out for the entire month so far. He was available last game, but served as the backup. So he will come in here. And again, for a guy like Varlamov, I mean, he's an older coach, right? And I mean, older goalie. Now you got me looking at the Patrick Waugh comment there, and yeah, I mean, no doubt, didn't always didn't how should we say end smoothly for Waugh in his time, right? Because of the incident, the old well, the reason pretty much why he got traded. I mean, he had that situation with Tremblay and was just got suspended. 4 days later, he's out of town. He's gone. So that's the storyline that I'm talking about. We know it, and but again, I mean, he's already the one thing, right? Tony is he's already been back to Montreal several times as a coach, but it's been a few years, and I would imagine, right? I don't know. I mean, as a Canadian fan, look, Waugh with his tremendous success in Colorado, but as a Montreal fan, I still think of him as a Canadian to a certain extent, not as a champion, certainly, but having been there in his career. All right, what else? Over for Fernando. Price is just too high. The rent's too high. Rich on the over here, it sounds like. Ray on the Isles. Okay. Well, come on. Let's get, I'm thinking about the winningest franchise in the history of North American sport. Bobby says Canadians upset mode. All right, so the storyline's there, and maybe the Islanders keep this going and maybe turn it around here as they've needed. Maybe a change in coaching is exactly what this team needed. Did lose to Vegas though. Yeah, that's what Canadians fans say, right? They'll never add to the total, probably. One day, maybe somebody will catch them. All right, let's move on here with the Coyotes and the Lightning today with Connor Ingram and Vasilevsky confirmed in goal from these beat writers here within the last. I got to plug in the goalie computer. I'm running out of juice there, and I've got too many plugs. When the show comes on, I need an extra plug. All right, here we go in this one. Coyotes on the road. You got Vasilevsky's won 5 of his last 6 games currently right now, looking pretty good. He, best he's looked probably since his surgery. Getting back here with Tampa Bay, I commented last night, you got all these hot teams, right? And there are a bunch of teams that have had winning streaks, and they're all kind of getting lower and lower odds, right? Even some of the hot teams now, probably tough to go with some of these teams, like even Edmonton. Are you really going to trust Edmonton? I mean, I trust Edmonton as hot as they are and all that. You guys are kind of talking about them there, but you really want them at 7-1, 8-1, 9-1, whatever. I'd rather try the Lightning at like their futures odds, right? If I'm going to look to a future play right now, it's going to be on the Lightning. I don't know if the Lightning, I don't think they're going to win the championship necessarily, but if I looked at the current odds board for all the teams, that maybe have a chance, and this is hockey after all, where goaltending and someone gets hot right now. To me, it's the Tampa Bay Lightning. I just feel like the odds are too low on the Bruins. The Avalanche, the Oilers are all in the 7, 8, 9-1 range. Same with the Jets and the Golden Knights and the Canucks and even hot Florida, right? They're all 10-1, 8-1 right there. But you can go to Tampa Bay and get a 25-1 right now. I think they're the team on the futures board with the most perceived value for my buck. Will I do it today? I don't know about that, but that's a lot of teams they have to get by. Maybe it's not even equitable. At 25-1, they're still behind about a dozen teams. So maybe it's not, but the fact that Vasilevsky's hot does capture my attention just a little bit. Might not be the best matchup here, though, against Connor Ingram here, but we do have the Coyotes coming in right on the back-to-back off of the game against Florida. They trailed 4-0, I think, in the first period yesterday. Fell flat on their face. So will that continue here against this one? Tampa Bay pretty successful, I think, at home right now, profitability-wise. And we know Arizona on the road not as swift as they are currently at home. They've lost 7 of their last 10 games on the road, and they've also lost 4 of the last 5 trips here into Tampa Bay. For the Lightning, they've now won 6 of their last 7 games. Their only loss was game to Detroit, 2 games back, lost 2-1 on the road. They did also win on the road trip against the Flyers, against the Sabres, and they beat up on Minnesota here at home, a team that maybe is kind of like the Coyotes right now, the way they're struggling. They also beat Anaheim here at home, which, they're not as good as the Coyotes, but you look at, they beat 2 West teams that are pretty mediocre in pretty convincing fashion, 5-1 and 7-3, but kind of want to give Arizona a chance on the puck line here. Maybe the total. Maybe I just trust Arizona, been winning a little too much on these Arizona games a little bit. They're covering puck lines like nobody's business before that loss to Florida last night. Was 4-0, finished 6-2. All right. Tony might be jumping in with me on Tampa Bay there on that future. Because right. That's what you want when you got. That's what I noticed. Right? They pinned me to the board. They said, "Who's going to win it all? Who's going to win it all?" Well, I said the Abs. When you see the performance that the Avalanche had last night, right, against Colorado, yeah, it was against Colorado. They beat it, but look, McKinnon. When a team sets milestones. Teams that set milestones win championships a lot of times. players who are doing things that are unprecedented. Look at what happened last night. McKinnon, incredible game. Makar setting the record. Now, that was a career record, but I mean, he's a Hall of Famer, right? So, and remember, the Avalanche have some great defensive players and defensive scorers too in their past. So, to me, I was like, I like the Lightning, the Avalanche, but if I'm looking at the board for the price and the crapshoot that we're probably going to have in the playoffs, because I don't know. I mean, even though the Avalanche, you got Vegas, you got the hot teams in Edmonton, Winnipeg, right? And you got over in the East some crazy things. I'd rather take a stab with a hot goalie like Vasilevsky. Here's Ray on the under. Everyone's on the Lightning. Bobby Smith says it's 5-1. Tony says that under's risky with Tampa Bay. The widely reported steam did come in on the over in this game. I was probably favoring the under now. So, and I actually think the price is too good to pass up on Arizona. And here I am talking about Tampa Bay, all this, but yeah, that's what Fernando, that's too much for me. Even if you don't believe the numbers, I'd believe these. It does feel like it. So, Jeff, Arizona on the puck line. Fernando says they keep it close. Maybe it's a draw. Maybe it goes overtime. So, Mike on the under here. And Fernando, I think we've got Connor Ingram confirmed. So, all right. So, okay, I guess we'll just have to make a call here in this one, and maybe I can buck this steam. Let me look at what is the actual total. Maybe if I could just find those 6.5s now out there. Yeah, they're all 6.5s, aren't they? That's good enough. I mean, that's probably good enough for me. I mean, I know what you're saying, Tony, about the Lightning and their explosiveness here, but now the total's 6.5. It definitely was 6 over 15. Now it's 6.5 under minus 20 or so, I'd say. And well, since I gotta pull that trigger, gosh, I kind of want to play it. Well, I'm gonna take the under here, even with what Tony's saying. We're on the same page everywhere else, Tony. And that is just my casual new chat friend, Tony. That's not our Tony, but you're our Tony. You're Team Steam Tony. All right. Let's continue. We got to get this show done, you guys. Flyers and Red Wings here. Flyers on the road, where I don't know if you look at it. I mean, this is where you want them, right? You want the Flyers. It feels like as a road dog, and you don't want necessarily want the Red Wings as a home favorite. It's kind of what it feels like to me, but I'm pretty sure the Red Wings are going to take all the action here. The Sharps are all over Philadelphia, aren't they? That's what I'm showing. That's what I'm supposed to tell you. I'm supposed to read who the Sharps are on, and I say they are on Philadelphia. And quite frankly, I might be right on their tails in this one. Now, you see that total 6.5. Look, I don't want to spoil anything here. I mean, the total's going on my card, so I'm going with the side here, and I'm going to take Philadelphia to win on the road here against Detroit. I think Detroit's going to get attention from the betting public, pretty heavy here today. But look at the line, and the line keeps moving towards Philadelphia a little bit. It feels like everywhere it's opened, 130, 125. Now we're seeing 115, 116 at Circa, 120 for Bet Online. The move's definitely on Philly. I'm not getting anything better than even money here in this one. All right, Dre with a pick there in Detroit in this one. All right, and that might I'll give you another minute or two. I mean, I'll give a few more stats out maybe here in this one with Philadelphia and Detroit, even though I feel like I'm pretty solid on what I'm thinking in this one. And like I said, not gonna try not to tip my hand on the total too much. I'd like you guys to maybe subscribe to my premium picks now that I'm on a pretty good winning streak here at this point of several days. Now I think we're going to be able to complete a week here by the time we hit the weekend and roll into these NFL games. It's all about college basketball, though. That's where we're making the money, and in these sports as well. You saw I'm on the board in all three of the major daily sports. So that's where we make the grind. The Flyers come in having won 12 of their last 18 games on the road. They've won 4 out of the last 5 meetings against the Red Wings. Philadelphia comes in to face a Red Wings team, though, that have won 7 of their last 10 games overall. Detroit's gone under in 4 of their last 5 games. They've gone over, though, however, in 6 of their last 8 games at home. So, let's get your nothing else from you guys. All right, I'll just take my Flyers and move on here. Let's see here, I think. Oh, okay. I thought we had sorry about that. I thought we had some injury information. Nothing there. Did see a little bit in the NHL yesterday on the injury front. Let me just move on with the game here with the Devils and the Hurricanes. And for the Devils, well, it looks like it could be Nico Dawes. Yeah, he is likely to be in goal in this one, confirmed by the beat writer about an hour ago. Vanasek had won a couple of starts in a row, but he'll get the rest today. The last game notwithstanding, it kind of got a little goofy there in that 6-5 game against Vegas. So Dawes comes back here. He's 0-3, coming off a pretty bad game against Dallas in that 6-2 loss. He saved just 30 of 36 shots in that one. The Devils have lost 5 of their last 7 games coming into this one. And Carolina, of course, last night did beat the Bruins. We had them here on the show. So maybe we know a little bit about what's going on with Carolina. They're obviously not 1555 as I take a look at the screen over here for the first time. Boy, the Devils. They must be sending out the little kids from the Mighty Ducks out there in this one. All right. New Jersey, they've lost 4 of their last 5 games against the Hurricanes. New Jersey has won 9 of their last 14 games on the road. However, just 1 of their last 8 games here in Carolina have they been able to win in this series. New Jersey's gone under in 4 of their last 6 games. For Carolina, they've won 9 of their last 12. They want to tell me they're imposters a little bit, but here come the Hurricanes again, 26-15 currently. They're on this little bit of a run here currently. We keep talking about how they win a game, lose a game, win a game, lose a game, but they are off the win, of course, against Boston. Lost at home to Minnesota before that, beat Detroit. We don't know if Ranta's in there for sure, but maybe with some problems right now that Carolina is having in goal, I think we're going to need. We need Ranta here in this one. Oh, I don't have quite the update I was looking for with this one, so we'll just have to move on. I think with some of the moves and maybe with your picks as well. Let's get your opinion on this one. We have. Hi, Dave. Good to see you. Thanks for coming by, brother. Appreciate you. All right. A couple of picks. Dre says, give me the Devils on the puck line in this one and the under. Well, I can't disagree with Dre here on one aspect. I think let me just stick with the under with Dre. I do like the under here in this one. Oh gosh. Hold on, Dre. I do see, they've been hitting this. What's the price? I got to look at the price, Dre, before I totally jump on board. Dave wants the Devils here. I want to just make sure we didn't move too far out of line. Look, give my secondary play sometimes as the free play, and we don't get the best of the price. Thank you, Fernando. Yeah, you caught me a little bit. Maybe I was getting ahead of myself a little bit. Because, what is okay? Where was I? I'm checking the latest line on the Devils game. 6.5. Under is now favored, right? So we did see maybe it started off a little bit higher. It's definitely favored under now. Maybe even $1.20 at 6.5. Does this change things? Does it change things for me? Oh boy, Dawes has been so bad, but the Devils on the road, I mean, it's not an awful spot, and the Hurricanes often are laying too big of a price at home. Well, this is going to be my least confidence play of the day. It feels like right now. All right, at 6.5 under. Can I flip a coin? Can I shoot a dart? What am I doing here? I'm going to take Carolina as a favorite in this one. Just doesn't feel that comfortable laying that much juice here, but the Devils in this situation right now, just not much confidence with this goalie in there right now. He's going to have to really show me that he's ready here, and he's in tonight. All right. I'm going to wait on that total. Dre's got you on the total, you guys. Fernando, maybe a draw. Mike says under. See, Mike says under. I know the Sharps are not clearly. I would say the Sharps are running under 2-1, 2-1 for every 2 Sharps, right? Because that's the way the line keeps fluctuating. I've seen as high as 7 under 32 at Parks. All right, better just move on here, and we got to get this show over with. Is what we got to do, right, Dre? Oh man, this one has a lot of issues for me. All right, here we go. Let's get to one maybe we can handle here with Nashville and the Wild, 2 teams maybe going. They've reversed their field here. Saros and Gus in goal, and we don't have any confirmation of these 2 just yet. So Minnesota, maybe $1.20. The total, though, looks like it's shifted to 6 flat or maybe 6 under 15 even. Maybe this total is going lower here in the game between Minnesota hosting Nashville. And look, the Wild, I mean, can the Wild finally get something done here against Nashville? I don't know if they can. I mean, I'm not having any faith at this point. Now, from what I've seen so far, I was watching some shows last night, some videos talking about, tight, low-scoring game whenever you get Nashville in a situation like this on the road. Nashville's won 9 of their last 12 right now. 7 of their last 8 for Carolina. Let's see. Oh, what's the season series here? Do I have the okay, sorry about that. I see. I'm reading the wrong notes. Okay, Nashville and Minnesota. Here we go. Well, let me get back to what I was saying about the talking heads of videos, right? A lot of talking heads saying just low scoring game here, close game. And I mean, that's what the indication is, certainly when you look at the numbers. And Nashville's gone under in 5 straight games. They've won 10 of their last 14 games on the road. That's where I found my notes here now. And this is where you want them in this kind of role, right? Close game on the road. Wild definitely struggling. Nashville's won 12 of the last 16 meetings between these two teams right now, as dominating the head-to-head series, including the only meeting of the year this year was 6-1. Minnesota got the win in Nashville back in November, late November in that one. Minnesota, they've kind of gotten it back together now. They've won 4 out of their last 5, look very good and beating some decent teams, Florida and Carolina on the road. Then they came home and beat Washington the other night. So maybe they've shaken those doldrums a little bit. Total's gone over in 7 of the last 8 meetings between the two. Minnesota 2-6, however, their last 8 games at home. That's why I say the road team maybe might be the way that I was looking, because of the way they play in the situation. That's about the only way I can context it. Mike says go under Dre's on the Wild. All right. Well, darn, I want to be on the Preds. And I was thinking maybe premium, but I'll just go with them on the show here. I'm going to take the Predators on the road to get it done against the Wild. Right now, I think I prefer the Wild almost on the road at this point, the way they won those games at Carolina and Florida. Yeah, they beat Washington. Let's continue on here. I've got just a few games and then we'll be done. Thank you very much for joining me today here on the show. Anaheim and Dallas in this one. You got Dallas certainly at home here in a dominant position as a $3 favorite against the Ducks. Maybe this is a spot where you could trust the Ducks a little bit to stay in there. You got to figure one of these times Dallas has to sleep through it a little bit, but Anaheim still just 9-13. Oh, where's my graphic? All right. Oh, there we go. Okay, so yeah, $3 favorite here with the Stars, and yeah, it's mostly 310, whatever you see there. That's pretty much what it is. But the total definitely is starting to shift. I'll just call it 6.5, but it does look like the total is starting to move a little bit lower here in this one. Ducks on the road. Can they really score? Can they find goals in this one? Look, Dallas took some pretty serious steam. These are ones where the Sharps really will pound in hockey. They are not afraid to pound numbers like 225, 250, 275. We talk about squares like me, maybe even like you. I might call the plays square and drive some of my chat follower, but I can be just as square as the next guy here. But for me, in a situation like this, when you got a square, like nobody wants to lay $3, right, to win 100, but sharp bettors will lay 3,000 to win 1,000 much faster than Joe average will bet 300 to win 100. I stand by that. If you want to debate it, it's not worth debating, but I think it's a fact. All right, Dallas comes in 14-8 at home this season. That's kind of a lot of losses, but quite frankly, for a Dallas team that claims to have such a strong home ice advantage, but they have won 6 of their last 9 games overall. Dallas has gone over in 13 of their last 20. The series has gone under in 8 of the last 9 games, but man, Dallas at home over in 14 of the last 15. So forget that 14-8, or forget that record. They're 19-5 to the over at home, but 14-1 to the over in their last 15 at home. Dallas has won 10 straight games against the Ducks here at home. I don't have to beat it into the ground. They are $3 favorites. Anaheim's 1-4 in their last 5 on the road, 3-10 in their last 13 straight up. Still, I kind of want to maybe, they're gonna crush them, you guys. I just talked myself into being super square, is what it feels like. But I might actually save it for a premium. You know what? I won a puck line as a premium last night. I'm going to take the under here in this one and figure the Ducks are going to have a rough time, even with the high scoring star. You know, I'm going to take it under, figuring the Ducks aren't going to have a very good night. It's hip to be square, says Lex. Trey says Dallas on the puck line. I think Mike has given us Albany. He's given us straight State University of New York, Albany. He's going old school on us. Fernando's got Fernando must be leaving. He's giving out all these props. Shagin, cover his numbers. He's got Djokovic to win, and I'm going against you in that one, Fernando. I am taking Yannick Sinner, and I'm taking him straight up. At least take one, maybe one set, maybe 2 sets. All right. Let's see here. Stars here, puck line. Fernando does go now. He's on the puck line too. I think I've convinced myself into it there, talking about it. Look, Anaheim, they've gotten their share of money on the road, and Dallas has lost a few, but it's starting to turn around maybe a little bit. Maybe it's just a bad matchup now that I think about it. 10 in a row here. So, all right. I'll take the under, though, as my play here on the show. Let's get 2 more done, and we're out of here. Here comes the Blue Jackets taking on the Flames in this one. Elvis and Markstrom, not showing confirmations here of any of this West Coast action just yet. But you got Markham here, $2 favorite in this one. Total here is 6.5. Maybe flat, maybe over 15 tonight with the Calgary Flames. Blue Jackets continue to be competitive. We know that game in and game out. They do pretty well on the puck line here of late. They're 14-6 on the puck line on the road this season. Total's gone under in 6 of the last 9 games for the Blue Jackets. Blue Jackets are just 1-5 straight up in their last 6 games overall. They've won just 2 of the last 7 meetings here in Calgary. That's almost a 10-year sample size, however. Columbus has gone under in 4 of their last 5 games on the road. For the Flames, they've gone under in 12 of the 18 meetings. These 2 teams, 12 of the 18 meetings over the last 9 years have gone under between these 2. Calgary's gone over in 4 of their last 6 at home. Calgary's beat Columbus here in 4 of the last 5 trips. I think we mentioned that one. All right. See what you guys have here. I think I'm running out of gas on this show. I know what I like and I know what I want. And I think I'm just going to take it right here on the show right now and take the under 6.5. Talking about some of those trends with these 2 teams. I'm not sure on the side. I certainly want to still give Columbus a chance, man. They cover so many puck lines right now, as I said. And the Flames, as a puck line favorite, they're 7-17. So, but I think more so on this total under, right? Calgary's gone under in 8 of their last 10. And Columbus not scoring very many, scored 1 goal in each of their last 2 games, having lost at Edmonton 4-1, lost at New Jersey versus New Jersey at home 4-1. And Calgary right now back on a losing streak all of a sudden with 3 straight losses. And they did score 4-3 against St. Louis in a 4-3 loss. They also lost to Toronto, but they've been at home here. 4 games at home right now consecutively. They beat Arizona. Okay, good. But losing at home here to Toronto, Edmonton, and St. Louis. All decent teams. I mean, obviously, Toronto and Edmonton. And the Blue Jackets aren't up to par with those 3, but Ray likes the under, Dre likes the Flames. I'm going to grab the under here in this one. All right, one more. Thanks for joining me, everybody. And it's one of the biggest spreads. It's the biggest, I believe, of the season here, as we have the Oilers are maybe 575. I saw 600s last night. It is 600 right now at DraftKings. Some people have said that, oh boy, they should be even 800. Well, I tell you what, if you really think they should be 800, you should lay 600, or at least lay 1.5 goals, or maybe 2.5 goals, because that would be the industry standard for a game like this would probably be 2.5, even listed, in the regular odds. But still, at -1.5, I think they're -$2 at least right now, if not a little bit higher. -210. I mean, -2.5 in this game is probably going to run you about $1.15, $1.20 or so. So we can get into it just a little bit. See what you like here. Can we get on these Blackhawks ever again right now? The way they've been going has been so bad. And obviously going to have to flirt with some alternate puck lines here or something, I would guess. Chicago has lost 5 straight against Edmonton. They've lost 10 straight on the road right now. Edmonton has won now. I forget. What is it? 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 games at this point currently. It's just been awesome the way they've been knocking it out of the park, man, with this current run for the Oilers and this great streak that they are on, man. No doubt about it. And no end in sight, it feels like, at this point for the Oil. They've won 14 straight games right now. I know how many it is. I just have to count it, or I don't have a site that says a W14. I had to count it in my mind while I was talking to you guys. They've won so many I forget. But Edmonton has gone under also in 8 straight games, so make no mistake how they're kind of winning these games, and does feel like if they're going to dominate here, it'll probably be just some low-scoring game. I'm sure Edmonton will probably end up crushing these guys today. So let me just take them on the puck line, it feels like. I'll do it. I will just lay 1.5 because that's what we offer at Tony's Picks. Now, I know it's a $2 favorite. That's all I can do. I guess I probably don't mind 2.5. I want to lay the favorite with Edmonton today. I'm not interested in any alternate puck lines with Chicago. I think I am interested in the total. I'm worried about Chicago even scoring. Here's Fernando with an under. Here's Ray with an under. Dre with an under. Likes Edmonton. And Rick says it's yeah, lay the house. All right, you guys. Unless you got anything else, I want to thank you guys for coming by today and joining me for the morning steam. Appreciate you guys so very much. Please head on over to Tony'sPicks.com and consider getting my premium picks today, or any of our handicappers over at Tony'sPicks.com. But you look at the hottest cappers at the site right now, and you'll find me on several of these leaderboards here all of a sudden. Yesterday, the hottest capper was me, 7-3. Last 7 days, I'm up 10 2/3 units with a 39 and 25 record. Last 30 days, I'm on that list too, just a little bit down here, but I promise you, I'm going to be up here very, very quickly. As usual, we started the yearly scoreboard over as well. I'll get up there with compliments to those guys with a great start, and compliments to all of our handicappers actually who've been doing so well. You can click on the Premium Picks tab. There you'll find our premium picks listed from our team of handicappers, including the 3-packs, 5-packs, 7-packs from our team. Look, Tiffany Mance has a 7-pack in the NHL. Mindy Hahn, a 7-pack in the NHL as well. Ron Hahn has a 3-pack today in the NBA. Daniel Velocichuk, he's got a 3-pack in college basketball. And Ben Rahala, he's got a 3-pack on Thursday. And I'll get my packages up there as well. Probably have them up there by 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. And if you wait to subscribe to those picks today on Thursday by 3 p.m. Pacific, please purchase between 6 p.m. Eastern and 3 p.m. Pacific time, and you will be able to get mostly four days worth of plays for that $99. Use the promo code TonyT at checkout. It's $79, but because of the timing of the deal, and because the action is early, and I have all my action in early on Saturdays, on Sundays, you'll get 4 days worth of action, including my NFL releases here on the website. So please consider my premium pick package for the next 3 days, where you can get 4 days worth of action for just $99. Click on the All Cappers tab, find those packages. It's my 3-day all sports package here at Tony'sPicks.com. In this package, if you do subscribe to that $99, you're supporting me. I get the commissions on this sale, and it helps to fuel our website and our channel. But also you'll get from me today, probably zeroing in on feels like a 9-pick kind of day with this card and what I have lined out so far, maybe even 10 or 11. Also tomorrow, probably the same, maybe a little less for that college basketball. Saturday and Sunday, though. Saturday huge. Sunday will go pretty strong too by the end of the weekend. Those 4 days for the $79, if you use the promo code, probably going to get upwards of 25 to 30 picks from me. So hopefully that'll set you on your way. Get some extra winners in your bankroll, and you're supporting me here on the channel. Hey, you don't want to buy it from a tout? You like Ramon Scott? This is how you get in touch with me and support me on this channel. I don't have donations on the YouTube. I don't have any other e-commerce. This is it. You want to support me? This is how you do it right here on our website. Promise you that. All right. Thanks a lot for joining me and listening to that. And I appreciate you guys so much. This is why I come back every day to be with you guys right here on the show, because, right. I mean, it feels like a responsibility at this point. So appreciate it. Appreciate Peasy music that it gave me. Appreciate you guys for stopping in. Thanks to all the commenters today that we had in the chat. Guys like Fernando and Rick and Timmy Tushu as well. Gray was here, Ray was here, Thomas Lewis was here today. Also, we had guys like Byron, my friend, Dave, my friend, Lex Steele was here today. Tony was here. Our Tony, Team Steam Tony. Fernando was here. Gerardo I think Gerardo came by, didn't he? Bobby Smith was here today as well. And also, we had guys in here like Jeff Schramm today, Rich Stubbs. We had Rich in here. I want to thank all of you guys. Bello stopped by to say hi. Brent Cook, Dr. Flush even was here. That was awesome. Perky was here. Justin McKelvey was here. Thomas Lewis was here as well. All the crew, thank you so much for stopping by. Ninja and Stephen Downey. Blake was here early on as well. Thank you so much, everybody. Catch you tomorrow, more morning steam, 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific. Join Tony in the drive-thru, 6 p.m. Eastern, and 3 p.m. Pacific. Tony is joined by the Big Dogs crew. We'll preview the primetime games to get you out of there before the top of the hour. Get you set up for the action tonight. For Tony'sPicks.com, I'm Ramon Scott.